Hi, it's me again. Okay, so you've made it about halfway through. Um, I told you it was going to be rough. Told you there was a lot of words. This area that I'm going to talk about next is probably the area that I could get the most comments saying, wait. This is probably one of the main reasons you're on here. Also, I'm going to discuss what we commonly call in the tax world cost of goods sold and inventory. Now, there's been many heated discussions, and I have gotten in arguments even on the Essential Families group page on how to treat this. This is the one area that if your tax preparer does not have knowledge of MLMs, they're going to give you the answer that the IRS gives. And it's not always true. I cannot tell you. I'm going to give you the options. I'm going to tell you how you can treat them, the various ways that they can be treated, the basic the understandings. But I honestly can't give you a right or wrong answer because there isn't one. This is one of those it all depends issues. And it really is. It's on a case-by-case thing. So I'm just going to briefly talk about this. Anything you read, even in the booklets, if you pull out, a lot of you have, and I mentioned earlier, TaxBot and some of the other workbooks that are out there, articles, MLM, Expert, Genius, articles right and left, they all say the same thing. If you hop onto the IRS website, in fact, you used to be able to type in MLMs, but it's such a huge issue that they've removed everything. But I actually printed stuff and copied things before they did that. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It's the grayest area out there. When you're running a business, the general rule is you are not allowed to claim a business deduction for anything that is used personally. That's the general rule. If you walked into me 5 years ago with this business, that's what I would have told you. And that's my partner and I have discussed this. And that is still her belief, even though I've tried to explain how things really work to her. So most of us are, as business owners, are probably part of the Essential Rewards monthly auto ship program. We know to receive commissions, we have to, I believe it's $100, but I honestly get confused. Commissions versus some of the other awards and bonuses and things. But we're just going to use $100. You have to spend $100 PV to be able to get that. There are a lot of people that will tell you that their tax professionals say that $100 is a business expense regardless of how it is used for business or personal, because it is a requirement to receive the business income of commissions. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But a lot of those same people will say, I'm giving you the $100. If you spend $300, I don't care. That must all be for personal. That I disagree with. There are other people that will tell you it is all for business. You can write the whole thing off. All $300. Okay, great. They don't want to know and they don't ask questions. It's really hard to figure this out. One of the explanations that most MLMs give is that you have to buy the product, you have to use the product so that you can have testimonies, and you have to do your research, and you have to be able to tell your customers how those things work. They define that then as a required business purchase, but it's not. So, the easiest, most friendly way, tax-friendly, tax-compliant way to do this is you got to document. everything. If you were running a shoe store, you would, and it's a business, it's not a hobby, although that'd be really cool to have. But anyway, you would write down every single pair of shoes that came in that door. If they were destroyed or something happened, you would remove them off the list. If you sold them, you would record that sale, how much, who it was sold to, and it would be gone out of your inventory. We are not in the business where we have to maintain inventory. Meaning we don't have to physically sell the product to customers. Customers don't have to come to us to buy it. So some of us do. Some of us do buy extra bottles. We know that Thieves is going to go out the door all the time. People are always asking if we can get them bottles of Thieves. So if I have to fill up my ER order, I'm usually going to get a couple bottles of Thieves. I personally, I'm going to tell you how I do it. I personally place 2 orders a month, 1 ER and 1 quick order, because I want to max out. And I'm able to do that. I place 2 orders. I usually hit the 300 level, 300 PV level with both of them. When we get those paper invoices and it lists every single thing on it, all of those oils go to a spreadsheet. That's how I maintain it. I find it easiest to do it just on a spreadsheet. There are other programs out there in the cloud or just workbooks where they've designed the same type of thing, but it really all goes in the same place in the end. For me, the easiest way to keep track is an Excel spreadsheet. In this date, what I had, out this date, sold to who for how much. That's the easiest thing. Now, when I say sold, this is what I mean. My Aunt Sandy calls me. She needs a bottle of Thieves. I get a bottle of Thieves for her on my order. I record down that I received a bottle of Thieves. She pays me for it. Okay? And then it goes out to her. Now, I'm going to record that 1 bottle of Thieves. First of all, I'm going to record the purchase because it was not for my personal use. And I'm also going to record the sale of the money she gave me. Now, in the end, it's a wash. But I've kept track of that bottle. I know I can stand in my closet on my wall of oils and look at the oils that I've kept for myself. I mean, I don't think I've ever bought a bottle of brain power for anyone else but myself. So I know, even if I don't keep track on a regular basis of my inventory, I know that anytime I bought a bottle of brain power, that was for my use. I'm not going to record that as an expense. I will have problems with the bottles of Stress Away that I buy for myself, I use for myself, but I also will give those as gifts. I will make bath bombs or bath salts or whatever with those. The easiest way to do that then literally is if you do a price per drop. That can become very tedious. But if you want to do this correctly, that's how you would do it. So the biggest thing is know what you've bought and what happened to them. I'm not afraid. If I spend $600 in 1 month, which I was kind of doing that in November because I had a lot of DIY stuff that I was making, and they weren't gifts. A lot of them were for sales. Some of them were for promo things. I actually did give all of my distributors, personally enrolled distributors, boxes, gift boxes, and I had samples in there of 9 different items. That's all deduction. So potentially that $600 that I would have spent could have been all business, and I would take that deduction without question. What I do try to do, is I do try to keep track of my orders. If I'm putting in 1 order, my first order of the month, I may do that only as personal, just to make things easier for myself. There is no easy way to do this. You have to figure out the system that's best for you. The tax deduction that's allowed is based on the circumstances. Maybe you don't use any of the oils. I don't know which one of you would honestly do that, but it's on a case-by-case thing. But you have to be prepared when you go to your tax preparer. They may not ask these questions. You have to be prepared to say, hey, this is what I do. Here's my inventory. This is what I used for personal. I understand I can't take that as a deduction. All this other stuff is an expense because I've used it, or I've given it out in samples. Samples are huge, obviously, or whatever. You have to have that. If you were in an audit, the very first thing the IRS is going to come in and do, that's the first thing they look at. And they're going to say, because you're an MLM, that you used it all personally, unless you have proof. If someone pays me in PayPal, I go in and I put a note that they paid me and it was a bottle of thieves. Or if they write me a check, I write it down on the memo and I have that document. This is another time where documentation is key to be able to claim that deduction that's completely legitimate. So I know I just totally confused you. And now you can go back to the rest of the reading of the class. I hope you had a little bit of a break, maybe. But thank you. I hope you're enjoying the class. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. But I'll put a little bit of wording when it comes up on that cost of goods in the inventory. But I couldn't write all this. So I hope you understand. And you can at least talk with your own tax preparer on what your options are and how you should do it. So, thank you.